This is not gonna be a regular review type of video, because this product doesn't actually exist yet, and it's the Pulsar X2F. At first, I'd really like to thank Pulsar for letting me be a part of this beta testing, because the Pulsar X2F which I have here and which I've been using for a few days is just a prototype, not the final version, so let's see how it is. This whole video is gonna be more laid back, less reviewish, and more of just an informative video. So let's get into it. As you may have already noticed, this mouse is very weird looking, and that's all because, as the name suggests, X2F as in X2 fingertip. It means that this mouse is solely made for fingertip grip. I've recently finished my own personal fingertip grip challenge, which means that it's very fresh in my memory and I have a lot to say about this mouse. I'll start with the absolute basics, and that is that this mouse is made out of carbon composite. But it's not the kind of carbon composite that we already know that is kinda soft. No, this mouse is sturdy as a rock. At first sight, I couldn't believe that this would be possible, but the opposite is true. Anywhere, anyhow I press it, it's absolutely solid, with no flex whatsoever. Even the base doesn't show any movement. It's absolutely sturdy. I don't think I've seen a mouse as sturdy and small as this one before, and I really hope that this is gonna translate into the final version. So for the 11th time, it's sturdy, but for it being fingertip grip exclusive, it's kinda heavy in this current form. Yes, with dot skates, it weighs only 42.5 grams, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with the light fingertip you can start feeling it quite quick, and also the nimbleness isn't on par with what I'd like to have. Pulsar says that this prototype is purposely heavier and the final version could be as low as 25 grams, but I wouldn't jump so quick from one extreme to another. I really like how rigid it currently is, but if Pulsar can manage this level of rigidity with a weight between 30 to 35 grams, I'd be more than satisfied. I can also touch a bit on the coating, which currently is very nice. It's grippy, it shows a bunch of fingerprints, but it's not bad, and if it could stay like this, I'd appreciate it. When it comes to design though, we have two things to talk about. One being the shape, and the second one being the looks. I'll start with the easier one, the looks. At this moment, you can see a lot of text, graphics, and so on. Personally, I like this bold kind of design, so I wouldn't mind it staying here for the final release. I can imagine that Pulsar with their Pulsar by You service could offer a lot of different interesting combinations, but I'd like this one to be one of them. Now we can go to the more complex one, the shape. When I put it side by side with my X2 Crazy Light, it's immediately apparent that X2F is just an X2 Mini with the back cut off. I've already said I've been using a fingertip exclusive mouse for some time now, and it was the G-Wolf's HSK Pro. However, HSK Pro, comfort-wise, wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I couldn't properly grip it because it's extremely small. When I gripped it the way I wanted to, I didn't have enough space for my fingers, and X2F solved that immediately. Because it's just a cut-off X2 Mini, there's still a lot of space for fingers. If you grip it more towards the front or towards the back, it's still comfortable. Comfort-wise, it is excellent, but I have a few nitpicks which, if solved, could possibly move this mouse even closer to perfection. Now let me gradually reveal the things, because they kinda go together. First, for me the most important thing could be the sensor position. I'd love to optimally see the sensor moved a bit more towards the front. Even though I understand that the scroll wheel is in the way, I still think it could be moved at least ever so slightly towards the front. I can very easily explain why that would be beneficial, because it goes hand in hand with my second point. As this is a fingertip grip mouse, it's obviously meant to be fingertip gripped, even though the grip could differ. Maybe more towards the front, where it almost resembles a claw grip, or more in the middle, which feels like this was the intended way to grip it, or more towards the back, which is the way I prefer to do it. But if I grip it too far towards the front, the sensor is too far back. In the middle, I feel like I have enough space to move the mouse, but the sensor is still a bit too neutral. However, if I grip it the way I like the most, the sensor is exactly how I like it to be. So you might ask, what's the problem then? My hands are 19.5 by 11 centimeters, and when I grip it towards the back, front side button is basically impossible to use, and the main clicks are extremely heavy. I haven't found a good solution for the side buttons, because however you move them, it's gonna favor a different style of fingertip grip. But the main buttons are a different story. I can see Pulsar adjusting the tensioning, because in the middle or at the front, they're great. That way they're not too stiff, very responsive, and even in this beta version, they're simply great. I haven't encountered any click wobble, which also adds to the great build quality, but the tensioning. I can click them all the way at the back, but then it's heavy and certainly not good for a fingertip mouse, which would be perfect with lighter tensioning all the way back. Scroll wheel is placed well, and thanks to the grooves between the main clicks, I haven't had any issues scrolling with any type of grip. Other than that, this overall shape fit me like a glove, and I can imagine that over time, as the X2F will change, the final product will be exactly what I wanted to have when I was doing my fingertip grip challenge. Before the end, I'd like to quickly turn the mouse over, because other than the build, I have one more detail to share with you and Pulsar. It'd be great if the final version had a totally flat base, so instead of having predefined spots for the 4 dots and the ring skate, everyone could use skates of any sizes and shapes according to personal preference. If I had to sum up my whole experience with this beta version of the Pulsar X2F, I have to say that already now, at this moment, it's a very solid mouse, and there's quite a few of us that can still bring more thought and experience into it, so I think this is potentially the fingertip mouse we've all been waiting for. And if you want to tell Pulsar something I forgot, don't forget to leave it in the comment. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Here is another one, and I'll see you again next Friday. Bye!